We're here at Jimmy Van's house. I'm going to check out his LJN collection. Now, I don't know a ton about LJNs, so you're going to kind of tell me a little bit about them.
I'll walk you through it a little bit.
I'm really excited. The first wrestling action figure I had, no surprise, Hillbilly Jim LJN.
Yep, it's around here somewhere.
Hillbilly Jim LJN, you got one of, quite frankly, the most eclectic LJN collections in the world. So
I've got them all in the package. Hillbilly, so some of them I had to stack because I didn't have enough cabinet space. So the Hillbilly Jim might be stacked behind another one right now. Oh, it's up there.
That's fantastic. I remember that one.
Hillbilly's right there, yeah.
So as we look through here, I mean, there are a lot of people who I didn't even realize had figures because I grew up in the Hasbro era.
Yep.
And things were a little bit different in that regard.
Right.
Well, like SD Jones, I didn't know he had a figure.
They made two.
So
this one has a, you know what, I can open some of these cabinets.
Yeah, I would love that.
This one has...
Can I open some of the figures, Jimmy?
If you do, you're leaving immediately.
Oh, man.
This one, see, they made two.
Oh, wow.
One with a purple shirt and one with a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, he has a Hawaiian shirt on.
Yeah, that's right. Not one of the more rare figures, not very expensive.
And I look at this, I wouldn't have realized that Terry Funk had an action figure.
Terry Funk had an action figure too?
Now, tell me, I see the skin tone differences up here between Savage.
Yes.
Like one of those, like his legs are a little bit thicker.
Well, I'll explain this one. So there's a phenomenon in this world called variance.
Yeah.
What that means is when something is different between them. And this one here, what we think happened is they did not put flesh tone color in the rubber.
Okay.
When they produced it. And I had people look at this. I had supposed experts look at this that thought, oh, it's probably just sun damage.
Yeah.
But once they saw it and discovered that the bubble is not yellow and the paint is not changed, they were convinced that it was just a screw up at the factory and they didn't put flesh tone in the rubber. But as far as I know, this is the only one that exists like
now,
that.
I see several of these that are 2, maybe 3 deep. Can you tell me the story behind maybe some of those?
Probably variants.
Yeah.
So, for example, me and Gene Okerlund up here, there's 2 of them, and there were just slight differences. See how the card is different?
Yeah.
Between the 2? This one has WWF logos on the microphone.
Oh, wow.
That one does not. So slight variance between them. So I collect all of them. And that's why I have them stacked usually because of the variant like that.
I see a couple Lucy's around here. I know this guy, Adrian Adonis.
I've got a few that, that one I originally owned whenever that came out, when I was 10 or 12 or whatever. And then these are ones that I just happen to like. This one here was not produced by LJN. That was produced by Hasbro because Slaughter left WWE to go to Hasbro.
And he was a G.I. Joe. I was going to say that looks more like the caricature of the G.I. Joe.
Yeah, Slaughter never had that physique.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Needless to say.
But Hasbro created this because they were trying to get a rub basically off the popularity of the LJN.
Of course.
That's why they made it. And you can only get it as a mail away. And if you notice here, if you take a look at this, if I can get them, there are spots on here.
I was about to ask about that.
What happened was it was a mail away, and supposedly the factory where they kept these, there was water damage.
Okay.
And because a different kind of rubber was used for this than for the LJNs, the water damage left permanent marks on it.
That is fantastic.
Yeah,
so
that's what happened.
The thing I like as I'm looking at all these LJNs, the physiques are pretty spot on for a lot of them.
Oh yeah, Hogan was definitely that skinny.
Well, I mean,
for
like
sure.
There's more of a difference in the physique than definitely, like, say, the Jack Pacific's bone crunchers that existed a decade and a half later.
I mean, like Haku's pretty similar, I think.
I mean, like Junkyard Dog has a little pot belly up there.
Yeah,
like, so I see a little bit more. There's a little bit more difference there in that regard. And
the old Andre as well. The old Andre kind of looked like the real Andre the Giant.
Like, for example, Hillbilly Jim, if that were a Jack Pacific bone cruncher, it would have like just had a body and painted over a basic body.
Yes.
Like you had the Undertaker who was thinner than Edge and skinnier than Edge, and it was like it looked really, really weird.
I mean, these ones were kind of a lot more cartoonish,
you
know, to a degree as well. But yeah, I don't know. It was the first thing I ever collected, and once I had the means to be able to get them on the package, I just kind of went nuts, and so I have them all.
So these are more that you just kind of are partial to and that you like?
Yep. The Andre was the first. That particular Andre is the first figure that I ever collected.
That's a great Andre.
It's decent. Well,
I mean, just like from like looking at it, because it's different. Like you don't see that gear. So many people that grew up in my era remember him for the single strap and all that stuff. But
no, this was circa, like, the look they used with the hair, that was probably circa 83, 84. It came out in late 84, I believe. And I actually had to trade with a friend at school to get that. And I still have it after all these years.
And I also see, I believe these are AWA Remcos.
These are the AWA Remcos.
These are making kind of a comeback, this style.
Are they really?
Yeah.
I guess, well, the new line WWE has.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar.
These are kind of cool too, but I think they're kind of cool for the opposite reason that I think LJNs are cool, is that they're all uniform. They're all the same, but they have different heads. Like, look at this ref.
Yep.
I gotta say,
Dip Worley.
That's one jacked dick.
Yeah.
That's one jacked dick right there.
They also had clothing. These guys had clothing.
Yeah, like actual cloth.
Actual clothing, and there's a Shawn Michaels and a Amari Jannetty in there.
I gotta say, Buddy Rose never looked better.
Yeah, Buddy Rose. And actually, I'll give you a little piece of trivia, Sean. Of all the figures that I have in my entire collection, with the exception maybe of that prototype Slaughter that we'll talk about, the most rare one of my entire set is in this cabinet. Ooh. And what do you think is the most rare figure? I only know of, I think, 3 that exist in the package. What do you think is the most rare one?
In this cabinet and among the Remcos?
No, it's the most rare of anything.
No. I mean, just like, is it a Remco?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I just said it's in this cabinet.
If that were, oh man, I would assume it's not one of these since it's a tag team. You said one, but maybe I'm wrong.
I could have meant one package.
That's a good point. I'm gonna say this Greg Gagne, Kurt Hennig camo set.
It's actually the Boris Zukov.
Okay.
The Boris Zukov is incredibly rare because they didn't make a lot of that Matt Mania set. And getting into the package, and especially in this condition, it's pretty much mint condition. Even the card is unpunched, which is rare. It's it's a very hard one to get. I have had offers for that. I won't even tell you for how much.
I really dig the Jannetty and Shawn Michaels figures. And
yeah, they're cool, yeah.
When I still would collect some wrestling merchandise and stuff, I loved Road Warrior stuff, so theirs is kind of cool. They look like they're wearing karate pants.
Yeah, a little bit.
They look like they are about to be superstar Billy Graham's like muscle, like when he did the karate gimmick there.
Yes.
But I love
Scott Hall's in there too.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people only know Scott Hall from when he started off as Razor Ramon, maybe the Diamond Stud.
That's right.
He was a big part of not big, but he was a part of the AWA.
Yep.
Before that, had a figure and everything.
He was kind of their attempt to recreate Magnum TA.
Yeah.
That's basically what he was back then.
And it's just wild because Magnum TA was going to be NWA's Hogan.
Yes, he was.
And then Scott Hall was going to be AWA's Magnum TA.
Right.
And then Scott Hall ended up just becoming WWF's Scarface.
That's right.
It's wild how that all worked out.
Yeah.
I want to take a look at maybe some of these over here that we haven't got to see.
Sure.
And maybe not my face on Brock Lesnar. Although I will say, Jimmy, as we pan to this, you got my physique down.
Oh, it's perfect.
You got my physique down.
Yeah, true to life. True to life.
So we're starting to see, like, I love, like, the snake here. Some of the accessories that come with those.
So the 89 set, notice how the cards are black.
Yeah.
Every other one was blue. So the 89 set was the last set they did, and it's widely considered the black card set.
Yeah.
That's what they call it. And there's 2 different types that came out that year. Some of them were they basically had leftover inventory to sell because the company wasn't doing well at that time. So they re-released them on a black card. So ones like Savage, Jake the Snake Roberts, the White Shirt Hogan, Ted DiBiase, Big John Studd, those had already been released before on white cards. Okay. They just re-released them on black just to kind of get the inventory out. These ones, like the Haku, Rick Rude, the Ultimate Warrior, Warlord, that was a new one that was actually released as part of that set that year.
That's amazing. So we see, again, very similar Randy Savages to the one that you have, but the variants of the cards.
Yep.
Which figure would you say you have, I don't want to say the most copies of, so to speak, but which superstar of this LJN line do you have the most of?
Definitely the Savage, I think, because number one, they came out twice. The white card, or the black card and the blue card, and because I have the variant with the white skin, so I've got 3 of those. I've got a lot of the Hogans too, because this Hogan came out twice. See how there's a...
And he's the biggest wrestler of that period.
He was, but this one came out on a blue card as well. That one with the red shirt, and then the original Hogan. So if you look at that, I've got 3 of those. Plus, the original set, if I'm going to get really, really particular, The original set came with stands. I don't know if I have any of those out right now. There's one right here. See how there's a stand behind the figure?
Yeah.
So the original set came with a stand in it like that. And then once they produced multiple sets, they just stopped releasing the stand for some reason. So I have a Hogan with the stand in it like that as well.
We got Ultimate Warrior here. I mentioned the physiques.
Yeah.
He's looking like 06 Triple H, maybe.
Yeah, he's a little bit chubby for the
Yeah.
Ultimate Warrior. And the reason I have two of these is because this is a very rare one. The Warrior in the package is pretty sought after, and so I was able to get my hands on two, and I kept both of them.
Okay, now
they're a little rare.
I see this on all of them. Poster inside.
That's right.
Is the poster inside that little flap?
Yes,
like,
it is.
What do they look like? How are they?
It's basically a hollow box. There's a poster that's probably about this big, and they're drawings. They're basically just like cartoon versions of the wrestler.
Are those individually sought after or anything like that? Like
there's a bit of a market on eBay for it.
Yeah.
Like I've had guys offer me, I don't know, depending on who it is, between maybe $10, $50, $100 if you're lucky. But I personally don't collect those.
Now we're going to take a look at the prototypes.
I have a few prototypes. Yeah. Zack Ryder can check out this clip.
And Zack Ryder's going to be thrilled. So these are Jimmy's
I'm sending this to him because Zack Ryder said I way overpaid for this figure right here.
My boss bought the Sergeant Slaughter prototype. Feelings, thoughts, emotions?
Well, here's the thing. So Kurt Hawkins threw out this insane number that I was not going to spend anyway. So I was denied, but I wasn't going to buy it for that price. So he bought it for way more than that. So congrats, I guess. I have it unpainted. The painted one's obviously cooler, but way more money. So I'm actually glad that I don't have it.
You're glad that you don't have... I'm glad that you said that because that will eat him up.
Sorry,
That will eat him up.
You spent way too much money. You got ripped off.
Zack Ryder knows memorabilia, so he knows figures are worth what you're willing to pay. That's what they're worth.
So maybe explain to the people who don't collect or just kind of new the concept of prototypes.
Yep. So basically, these are not made of rubber. These are made out of resin. Although the middle slaughter here was made of rubber. These are made out of resin, which is kind of like a hard, almost like a plaster material.
Yeah.
What happened was they would create the prototype, they would do it up because they wanted to take a look, before they mass produced it, they would want to take a look at it, paint it up to see if they think that it's, where it needs to be before they produced it. The thing that made these all interesting is that they went into way more detail on the prototypes than they did with the finished product.
Yeah.
Probably again because they were mass produced in China, probably made a big difference. So for example, the George the Animal Steel, the produced type didn't have chest hair, like painted chest hair.
Oh, wow.
The Jimmy Superfly Snuka, the leopard on the tights wasn't as detailed on the final figure. Little things like that were different between the prototype and the finished product.
And so the reason why Zack Ryder was kind of doubting this is because he said that the gear on the Slaughter didn't necessarily match up with that time frame.
Yeah, so I talked to him a lot about it, and so if you look at, this is the Hasbro Slaughter. This is the painted prototype Slaughter, and it's very similar, right? The colors are very similar. And I've talked to Zack Ryder about this. He thinks that somebody working for LJN produced this on their own.
Okay.
He thinks they had a mold, because we're pretty sure that they were going to make a Slaughter, and they had a mold. But he thinks that somebody that worked for the company made this figure and painted it, and did so based on the colors of the Hasbro version. That's
Now,
what we think.
Explain to me these, because I don't know anything about these.
Yeah, I mean, these are, so LJN had other stuff that they made aside from the figures everybody knows about. They made thumb wrestlers. They made stretch wrestlers. They made the tag teams over here, and they made these giant Hogan and the giant Piper. There's two out of the box right behind you if you want to pick one up.
Yeah, I would love to.
Yep, right there.
We'll pick up the one that isn't racist. Roddy Piper.
Yeah, so these basically are just giant. I don't know if they're supposed to be Barbies for boys or something.
Yeah.
But they're basically just large versions that had the clothing and everything on them, and they only made the two. They only made the Hogan and the Piper.
You have a couple of few tag teams up here.
Yep.
And it's not here, but you also have the new LJN style Young Bucks at your office.
It's around here somewhere.
I saw it in your office.
I have two of them.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, it's around here somewhere. I don't know where the hell it is, but it's right here actually. The Young Bucks one is right here.
So, we'll wait. We'll set up the shot.
Yep. There it is.
This is the Young Bucks style LJNs.
Yeah.
Now,
So you can see it's very similar.
yeah.
Except that one had the WWF branding on it, and this one doesn't. And I thought they were going to produce a whole set of this, but now I think it was just a one-off for the Young Bucks because they actually put the Young Bucks name on it.
Yeah.
Unless they did it for, let's say they do SCU. They could put SCU up there, but that's what they
Now, maybe explain to people how it got from LJN here to LJN here, because a lot of people won't know that story.
Yep, so basically the LJN rights, the IP, the licensing became available. I know the guy that got the rights for apparel. So I know the guy that got the rights to do t-shirts and stuff. The people that the Bucks are working with got the rights for toys.
Okay.
And so that's why they were able to produce this stuff, because they basically were able to acquire the IP.
So if they made a set like this for All Elite Wrestling, would that be something that
I would be
looked
interested in?
cut into doing?
Well, here's the funny thing. So when the Bucks thing was coming out, I said I would not get it because it wasn't part of the true set, and then I did. So
yeah, you did. I remember that.
So maybe I would probably end up getting it in.
Yeah.
You know?
So out of all these figures, which one would you say your personal favorite?
Oh, that's.
I mean,
hard
the Slaughter
question.
seems like a no-brainer because
We should look at the Japanese ones down there.
Yeah, let's look at those.
So basically, these are the oldest known action figure line.
Cool.
From I believe from 1981. They're called Poppy, P-O-P-Y. Yeah, I know I've got a lot of crap everywhere. And thanks for ruining my shit.
I'm sorry for ruining your copy of WWF Full Metal the album and WWF Music Volume 2.
Yeah.
I'm sure you bump that all the time.
So you can see there's a Hogan right there. And that is pre-red and yellow Hogan from Japan in 1981.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and so so again, that is the first known wrestling action figure line from '81. So it precedes Remco, because Remco precedes the LJN line.
Yeah.
But that precedes Remco, and they're not that easy to get. I've only got 5 or 6 of them.
How many are there?
I think there's 10
Okay.
in the set.
Is that still something you seek?
I haven't. I just haven't had time.
Sure.
I haven't had time. But I do plan to get it eventually. I just haven't had a chance to look for it.
So that's Jimmy Van's office. That's his LJN collection. Hope you guys like this. We might produce some more things. Like maybe Jimmy, because of this video, will buy every Hasbro ever.
Oh.
Maybe he'll buy me every
That's not gonna
Bone
happen.
Cruncher ever. Because
Not gonna happen.
there's not that many Bone Crunchers. There's only several hundred. So
Right.
it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys leave a thumbs up and subscribe. Until next time, we're out.